Welcome to June's Leetcode challenge. Today's problem is sort colors. Given an array with n objects colored red, white, or blue, sort them in place. We use the integers 0, 1, and 2 to represent colors red, white, and blue respectively, and we're not allowed to use any library sort functions. So obviously there's the typical sorting methods like bubble sort, insertion sort, quick sort, but because we already know that there's only 3 types of integers, we can actually do this in O of n time complexity. And the straightforward solution, they straight up tell you right here, is to do a 2-pass algorithm using counting sort or bucket sort. So I've already written that out here. I didn't want to go through it too much, but you just create a counter object counting the number of 0, 1s, and 2s, and then go down the list again. And as long as we have more than 0 for the counter for the number 0, then we just make that number 0, and then we decrement that counter. As soon as that's no longer greater than 0, we move on to the 1s, and then we move on to the 2s. So this totally works. It's accepted, but they give us the challenge of saying we want to solve this in 1 pass, right? And we want to use constant space. We don't want to create any counter object. So how can we do that? Well, if it was, think if there's only 2 numbers, say that we only had 0 and 1s, that would make it pretty easy, right? We just have like a pointer going down this list, and as soon as we find that there's a 0, we just swap it with the second pointer and increment that pointer as we move down the list. So that way we'll know all the 0s are going to be on the left side. But this is a 3 color. This is a 3 integer, right? So how do we take care of that? Well, luckily, since there's only 3, we just need 1 extra pointer. And we'll do the same thing, but we're just going to say that if it's greater than the middle point, so that's going to be white, which is 1. If it equals 2, we're going to swap that to the right pointer, and we'll decrement that, and we'll kind of just sort it in 1 pass as we're moving down this list, and having this pointer go down, decrementing the number. Okay, so I'll just write it out, and it'll start to make a little bit more sense. We have red, white, and blue, right? And all that's going to be is pointing to 0. And white is basically going to be the middle point, and the real pointer that's like going to tell us where we're traversing through this list. And blue is going to be the length of nums, -1 actually. So we want to do a while loop and say while white, which is our kind of main pointer, is less than or equal to blue, what are we going to do? Okay, well, if the nums white, which is our pointer, if that equals 0, so that means it's red, we want to swap it with the red pointer, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to say nums.white and nums red. Let's swap it. All right, and we need to increment our white pointer, obviously, and increment our red pointer as well. Now, otherwise, if nums.white equals 1, which means it equals white, well then it's fine. It's in the middle, so we can just increment our white pointer. Finally, this is the tricky part. If it's red, or I'm sorry, if it's blue, what do we want to do? Well, you'd think all we need to do is just swap it with the white pointer, just the same way we do with the red. But the problem is, if we swap it with another blue, now that blue is out of place, right? So we can't increment our white pointer until we get all these blues all the way to the right at this point. So what we're going to do here is we'll still swap the same way, but we're not going to increment our white pointer. Instead, we're just going to decrement our blue pointer. So nums.blue equals blue, and nums, I'm not typing well today. And that should be it. Let's go ahead and see if that works. I'm going to run it first. And it looks good, so let's submit that. And there we go, accepted. So this is in 1 pass. It is being done in 1 pass, and we're not using any extra space. Thank you.